Welcome to the Magic Carpet review and thoughts on the new Husqvarna 701 Enduro. Today we're going to remove and reinstall a bash plate to the 701, and on a scale of easy to hard, this is a number one easy. This job, anyone should be able to do this job. If you can change a light bulb, you could do this job. Tools that you'll need will be a hammer, a draft of some variety. That could be any thin piece of steel that would fit into the hole, an 8mm Allen key, a 5mm Allen key, 13mm socket, 15mm socket, a T30 bit, a T40 bit, and a ratchet, or I'm going to be using an electric drill to undo everything, just to make it a bit quicker. But that's it. That's about all the tools you should need. So firstly, let's remove the standard bash plate, which, to refer to this as a bash plate is an overstatement. It's ridiculously inadequate. It would offer no resistance to anything really, if anything at all. Complete rubbish. Just remove these grommets out of the back. You won't need those either. Now you can see here, as soon as I take the bash plate off, you can see why you would need to install the bash plate is that most trail bikes have some sort of frame that would come around the motor, and because the 701, the 690, they all come with this truss type frame in it, and the motor basically bolts up underneath that. So there is no engine protection under here at all. So finding a good quality bash plate is key. If you're going to take this bike off-road, you want to have a good quality bash plate installed. You go over any sort of rocky terrain, trees, anything like that, you're going to need it, because it wouldn't take much to punch through the bottom of your crankcase there. Okay, so we've got the standard bash plate off. There's not much holding it on. We do need to remove this nut and its corresponding bolt. It's a 13mm. Let's give that a quick whiz out. If you find that it's turning inside, that's what the 8mm Allen key's for. You just pop that in the other side and undo that. Okay, this is where you might have to give it a bit of a tap just to get it out of its spot there. Put it on there. There's that little bump, that should be free. There we go, out she comes. Okay, so the bash plate I'm going to install is going to be from a company called B&BOffRoad. There they are there. Let's see, should be able to see their website. Good guys. I think I'm probably one of the first people in Australia to get the Husqvarna 701, so they were very keen to get their hands on it and just have a look and see what's the same as the KTM 690, what's different. There are some differences we've found out. The bash plate is identical to the 601, so they were thrilled that they didn't have to make a new product just to service that. Okay, so the installation of that's nearly as easy as the removal of the standard one. It comes with a threaded rod. All your fixings come with this item. Just before I get to that, you see on the bash plate here, it's got these rubber stops built into it. This is kind of key. This sort of braces it against the motor a bit, and just makes it a bit more rigid, bit of cush between the motor. It also stops some of that vibration that you might get, bit of a ring that you often get out of aluminium bash plates. That eliminates that. Look, I rode with it yesterday and I didn't really notice any ringing or excess noise coming from that bash plate, so I was pretty pleased with that. Okay, back to the installation. You get the threaded rod. Just start one of the nuts on the back end of that. Just something to tap against. Get that in there and started. Let's give that a bit of a knock through. And you want to leave maybe an inch, 25 mil of that hanging out. A little bit further in. Perfect. Just leave that undone at the moment. So give yourself a bit of a gap there of anywhere from 10 to, well, it's got to be more than 5 mil gap there. You'll see why in a minute. Get the other side started as well. Same deal, leave that loose. So we see on the bash plate here, it's got these hooks. Now that fits over the threaded rod here. The threaded rod would go through there. So we can just get a bit of an angle. Let's get that on there. Little bump in. Beautiful. That can just stay hanging there. What I suggest you do first is actually fix the front of the bash plate first. And this will be the 5 mil Allen key. Which will go just in here and actually fit to exactly the same mounting points as the standard one. Let's get that started. Where's the other one? There it is. Go around the other side and do the same to that. Get that one started. Okay, they can be done up tight now. Now if you're going to use an electric impact driver like I have, always start the nuts by hand first before you go at them with the power tool. Very easy for it just to go in a little bit sideways, and then you're going to have trouble. You're going to strip your nut or your bolt. Okay, you want to change over now to the 15 mil socket. Just do that up gently to tight, because it is a threaded rod. You would just pull it more back through to yourself. Just make sure the rod is even on both sides. So there you go. One bash plate installed. Now one of the advantages of aluminium bash plates, of course, is that they're light and they're strong, but aluminium inherently is soft. So, and this is a good thing in some respects. I have had this one out already in the bush. Did some pretty heavy riding with it yesterday, hitting logs, rocks, quite rocky terrain, lots of logs, big logs, and first ride, so I was a bit tentative going over logs, and I crashed the bash plate into some of the logs rather than popping up over the log. So we can see here the bash plate's got a little bit of a bend in it. but aluminium is soft, it will do that, and it's done its job. This will bend. Over time you'll hit things all the time. You do fall off. Who's kidding themselves? Everyone falls off their bike. We crash into things, it'll bend. The idea of this is to protect your motor. These are pretty cheap really. This was I think they're about $185. You can get those mail order. You can buy them over the internet without a problem. This isn't a paid review at all. I had to buy this bash plate. The guys at B&B were very keen for me to bring my bike in just to see that everything fits as it should, and they were pleased to find out that it was all part of their range. They were so happy that I bought it in. They did give me a chain guard. Now, on scale of easy, this is ridiculously easy. You take the plastic chain guard off. T30 drill bit. T40. It's off. Now, it would serve about as much purpose as the bash plate by way of chain guard. The B&B chain guard looks like this. It's quite a solid little piece of gear. It's pretty light. It also comes with some spaces to just get that to locate in the right spot. So that's one of the spaces. Just set this up. So the best way to install it is actually just to have them sitting in there, holding it, put it up into place, get your bolts started. There we go. Do them up. There you go, installed. I will, later on, I'll take these back off and put some Loctite on them. Notoriously, bolts rattle loose in trail bikes, so do some Loctite, anything that you put on. Look, you could Loctite everything that you ever undo or can see. You could take these off, put Loctite on them. It's not going to hurt anything. Doing that, apart from that, you won't lose your bolt, lose your whatever you're doing. Now the chain guard, review on that. Look, I probably wouldn't have bought one, but since they were kind enough to give me one for my trouble, the review is that look, it's a good thing. Like that plastic one wouldn't have stopped anything. If this chain breaks, what happens is the sprocket just keeps feeding the chain out and into the engine case, breaking your engine case, breaking your clutch cylinder here. A chain guard like this, if your chain should ever break, and they do, you might lose your connecting pin or just break it for whatever reason, and they get jammed up in here real tight. So having a chain guard just protecting some of these crucial components is a good thing. Easy to install. Look, I have no idea how much they are. Like I said, he did give that to me, but this isn't a paid review, and it was more or less in payment of the trouble I went to go and spend some time with him, seeing what does and doesn't fit. So there you go. I'm really happy with the B&B off-road bash plate. Look them up, give them a call. They're just a small Australian company doing good work. Thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe, hit the like button, all those sort of YouTubey things. Thanks for watching. Bye.